What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to episode 60 of Let's Build the U.S.S. Voyager. I'm Zero Elite, and I just want to thank you very much for tuning in today's episode. And if you haven't done this already, please hit that like and subscribe button, helping me in supporting the channel. I can't thank you enough for that. And new subscribers, be sure to hit that notification on button. Hit that like, mash it. Shows YouTube that I'm putting out some good content for you guys. Drop a good comment. So it's been a little bit since we've had a new episode out. Just a whole lot of life events going on that I've really had to take care of that have prevented me to get some new episodes out. But without further ado, let's kick back, relax. We're going to dive right into this thing. Got all sorts of energy today, but I'm excited to get back into finishing up the tutorial for Voyager. We've got, counting episode 60, we have 20 episodes remaining to go through with Voyager for this thing to be done. And we're going to be picking up where we left off. We're working on what will eventually be the framework for our corridors that's going to go in from our shuttle bay that will connect down, what will eventually become engineering, but also to connect us to the turbo lifts that's going to bring us up into the other levels on the ship. We're looking pretty good here. Now, we're going to double the same thing. So if we're going to do one thing on one side, we're going to do it on the other. So eventually there is going to be two hallways going on the left side and the right side. If I'm not mistaken, we're not going to add that in just yet. I think the second hallway is something that we're going to add later on. Because I do remember that, if I recall right, that I did this initial one on the left side of Voyager, and then I went back for consistency, and then I added it to the right. But to kind of break down what we're doing here, we're just putting down our foundation work. Because this is why I say that it's so imperative to have your walkways and things like that planned out. The last thing you want to do is be in a position where you start building out all these different inner workings of your ship and you don't even have your pathways put in place. It's just going to make things a lot more complicated down the road when you're trying to flesh out your interior and make it to a point where you can walk around your ship without getting just unbelievably lost at every turn. Some people may not want to do it this way, and hey, if you don't like it that way, to each his own. This is why one of the things I just severely encourage on my tutorials, do your own thing, you know? Everything I'm doing here, this is just a guide on what you could do to help point you in the direction to building out one of these ships. But it's not something that you have to do. And I would almost honestly prefer that you guys would come up with your own spins on this, because where's the fun in just copying somebody else? But, you know, to each his own. If this is what you enjoy doing, I say go for it. You just want to use this as a reference, I say go for it. But that's something that I do, you know. That's why I encourage it, because I'll use my own personal references, whether that be a photo from a show, movie, concept art, a toy, whatever I can get my hands on. Can be very beneficial. So I know we're going to be kind of popping all over the place in episode 60. We're going to be slightly switching gears over into the exterior, and we're going to be accentuating some of our hull lines, and we're going to be bringing this almost all the way up to the backbone. We're going to stop one block short of our middle backbone. We're going to do the same thing on the left side. Just want to make sure you're matching up your cut line. I'm not breaking all this stuff down at this point, because at this point in the tutorial you should be already doing that stuff. And if you're not using your cut lines to match stuff up, you might want to. Definitely a good way to go about lining your stuff up. So that's looking pretty good. I don't know, like, basically kind of what I'm doing here, I'm toying with the ideas of just, you know, bringing out more of those hull lines out of Voyager. because I'm not really going to be able to get too much of it out of the saucer, at least for what I'm wanting. So I'm trying to figure out how I can do that to where it looks good, but it's also not too much. Because, you know, just my opinion, less is more. There's, to me, you want to find that fine line of adding in just the right amount of detail, because you can go overboard with it, you know. Um, this is kind of why I gingerly add in my detail, because I kind of feel like doing it this way, you do little by little, letting it marinate, going back, tweaking things, you know, here and there until you kind of land on where you want to. Now this row here, you can see I'm not bringing it up nearly as much, and I'm just messing around with the hull lines. I'm just trying to see some different things here as far as the total length that I want to bring them up to. If I'm not mistaken, I think we're actually going to be changing the color of the hull lines at some point. But a lot of stuff, pretty much, if not almost all of it, everything at this point that we're doing is just finishing up the ship. For the rest of the tutorial series, we're just going to be knocking out some loose odds and ends. You might see some other times where we're focusing on specific areas, but this is nothing new for the tutorial series way I'm doing it. I try to do it in a way where I build everything all together, but sometimes it just doesn't come out that way. So anyway, we're going to be shifting gears back over into our primary shuttle bay, and we're just going to start developing this out a little bit more. We're going to add some gray pillars on each side of our left walkway. And I don't know, I had trouble finding a bunch of reference material for screenshots of Voyager shuttle bay, specifically the left corner of it. I found a ton of blueprints, and I found a lot of references that showed me other areas of Voyager, specifically the shuttle bay, where I was able to get in some really good detail on how I actually got the idea to do the second level on the shuttle bay was from those blueprints that I had found online. But no, what you're going to notice here, and I kind of rambled there for a second, my bad, but what I was trying to get at is that I'm going to try to fill in most of the room with the reference material that I have, and then kind of what we're going to do is go back and fill in the blanks the best that we can based off of how the room already looks. And I kind of cheated in it, with the ceiling. I used a similar pattern that I had for one of the ceilings in one of the ships I had done in the past. I don't remember which one specifically. It might have been the Disco Air Enterprise. But that was another area where I could not find a decent screenshot of the ceiling of the shuttle bay, so I just kind of came up with my own thing. But one thing I do really like about Voyager shuttle bay is it has this long tunnel that you kind of have to shoot through before you can get out of it. I think that's kind of cool how they have that set up, and it'll just be a nice change, you know. This is one of the things I like about building different ships, and not just building like the Enterprise over and over again, is when you get into these different ship classes, their interiors are drastically different than a Constitution class, which is awesome because we get to have just so much more fun, I feel. And not that building the Constitution class isn't fun, but you know, at this point I've built like several of them. But the Enterprise A Retrofit 2.0, that'll be coming out when we hit 1,000 subscribers. Now, I'm still gonna I figured out a couple of ways where I'm gonna be able to make that build fun, because one of the things I'm gonna really enjoy about doing that one specifically is that there's no interior shots of that specific Enterprise A just yet. So pretty much everything that I do is just going to be whatever I want. So there will be some opportunities there to mix things up and to do some things differently. Now, if there's some rooms that you want to see me do on that upcoming build, be sure to drop a comment below. I definitely love hearing from everybody, but you know, love getting the feedback on stuff that people want. definitely helps give me an idea as far as what direction I need to go in. But I gotta tell you, it is really nice to get back into the swing of things with Minecraft. I know that I was gone for several months. It ended up being a little bit longer than I wanted it to be. And without getting into like the beans of it, just basically what happened is just, a few life events with work between getting a promotion and then ended up having to move into, well, not having, but the opportunity came up that I was able to move into a bigger apartment, which was freaking awesome because my wife and I had been rocking out the one bedroom apartment for like 5 years, and we had at least 2.5 bedrooms worth of stuff shoved into a one bedroom. Like, I'm not kidding, it was ridiculous. My dining room was my office for on days that I was working at home, and it was a lot. So it's nice to finally be in a larger space. I actually have an office that's designated to be the office. I haven't lost my dining room. So like I said, just a lot of stuff going on, but I always had intended to come back to building on here. But those of you that have been on my channel for a while, this is really nothing new. I always take breaks here and there periodically. I think it's good for everybody. It's good for me. It's good for the viewers because gives everybody a chance to kind of recharge your batteries. You know what I mean? And I just want everybody to know that I am very committed to continuing the content on the channel, but there is going to be breaks here and there. Nothing to worry about, just business as usual. But there is a ton of content that is already planned and already done. That's just waiting to come out at this point. And like I said, the Enterprise A 2.0, that'll be coming out once we hit 1,000 subscribers. And then immediately following Voyager, we'll be going into the Excelsior 2 class, which I'm excited to see how that's going to go. Voyager has done actually fairly well in the views. I was hoping to get a little bit more out of it, so I don't know if a season 2 is going to end up happening for Voyager, because basically the kind of the way I'm trying to figure this out right now is that I'm trying to figure out the sweet spot as far as how much content and how much I should put into these before maybe moving on to a next build without spinning my tires, more or less. And I don't want to spend a lot of time working on something if a lot of people aren't going to end up watching it. You know what I mean? So I think Voyager is still kind of a play it by ear for season 2. We'll just have to see how it does once the season actually concludes and how many views I end up getting out of it. So if Voyager season 2 is something that you're wanting to see, be sure to smash that like and subscribe button, specifically on this video, specifically on all the other Voyager videos. Drop a comment. All that stuff helps out the analytics, and the more views and likes I get on videos, that's what shows me at the end of the day what you guys really want. Let's see, what else? We've also got Enterprise D Season 2. That's a lot further off because I haven't actually been playing Minecraft too much in the last couple of months. But I have been popping on here and there to do some stuff, just not nearly as much as I've been focusing on work and just kind of taking a brief break. But Enterprise D, that's going to be coming up. I still have to finish up catching up to myself from where I left off from Season 1 before I can even really start planning out the nitty-gritty of what a Season 2 could look like. But Season 2 for Enterprise D is a guaranteed done deal, because the amount of views and likes that I got out of that tutorial series, I can justify it at that point. And there's a lot that we can do on the Enterprise D Season 2 that I either planned to do and didn't get a chance to do, or just other opportunities that have come up with it, like Picard Season 3 with how they brought the Enterprise D back. There's going to be some cool stuff that we do with that. But, point is that we've got a lot of content that's going to be coming out for the future. I've got content planned for the next couple of years at this point. And it's not all necessarily going to release in that order. It just kind of depends. Anyway, getting just back in a little bit what we got going on here. I'm not really calling this out because this is just, this basic building here, but we're just forming out our shuttle bay control room that's going to sit above our doorway here, that will eventually go into what's going to be like a turbo lift area for shuttlecraft. But those of you with a keen eye, and this is why I kind of want to get back into this. It's like I said, you know, it's always important to knock out your pathways. And I don't know if you really noticed how I built this area out. I planned it all together. I started building out my walls. I went into the doorways. So, like, you really got to know where this stuff is. And I promise you, those that aren't building this way, try it out, because you might really surprise yourself with just how easy it's going to make things in the long run. Another really good thing to do, believe it or not, is just looking at the blueprints of these starships. One of the things you'll notice is that their overall pathways, well, corridors, it's all pretty much the same thing when you go ship to ship. Yeah, there might be some variations here and there, but for the most part, you're not really getting that much of a shift. So it's going to be consistent when you go through and through. So you don't want a ton of inconsistencies. You don't want a ton of like where you're just kind of walking down like randomly angled pathways. Better way to explain it, which I didn't just do. You know, you notice in Star Trek you've got your straight corridors and your circular corridors. That's basically it. There is no in between. There's well, that's not true. I take that back. You do have your section points where it's like an x-axis point where you've got 4 points of entry, but or maybe like 2 points of entry or 3 points of entry. But other than that, like that's the beans of it with your pathways. So stick to that rule, because that's going to help make this look a little bit better. Now you can see what I mean here on the left hand side. I don't like how this is looking. We're going to have to severely change this. Now over on this side, that doesn't look too bad. But again, everything I do on the left side here is going to be just, you know, what I've come up with, because I could not find a reference photo of that specific corner. Ultimately, what ends up happening is that we're going to add in some a workstation there, because the room felt very, very empty without it, other than it being up in the shuttle bay control room. That's crazy. We already shot through 17 minutes. That's going to wrap it up for us today for episode 60. We're back at it. So I just want to thank you guys again for tuning in today's episode. And if you haven't, please help me out. Hit that like and subscribe button and help me. I can't even talk today. You can tell it's been a while since I've done this. But helping me and supporting the channel. So if you guys can do that, I appreciate you. If you have any questions or comments, drop a comment below. Definitely love hearing from everybody. And you can join the Discord. I'll have the information in the comment or in the description below. Anyway, that's going to do it for me. I just want to thank you all again for tuning in today's episode. I hope everybody has a happy and safe week. And what did you make today in Minecraft or any building game in general? Drop your comments below.